Welcome to the deep dive. We're about to plunge into some classic Star Wars lore today.
That's right. This comes from excerpts of a Junior Jedi Knights book.
Yeah, and picture this scene. You've got a young Anakin Solo, totally lost in concentration, right? Trying to build this hologram of his family.
And then there's Master Ikrit, this, well, furry Jedi Master watching him.
A furry Jedi Master, plus Tahiri, full of energy, bursting in with news.
Mm-hmm. And it all spirals into this adventure involving, like, ancient space stations shaped like sea creatures flashing lightsabers.
Yeah, and that feeling of just trying to sort through too much information,
Yeah.
which is something the characters are actually grappling with themselves.
Exactly. So we're treating this text as our historical record, you could say, our mission for this deep dive.
We're going to unpack the main story, figure out what makes these characters tick, their motivations, their struggles.
And look at those fascinating details woven in. Themes of learning, self-doubt, trust, and what happens when someone tries to find a shortcut to power.
Okay, let's dive right in. We start at the Jedi Academy on Yavin 4, inside the Great Temple, deep within those stone walls.
And we find young Anakin Solo. He's in his room. It's dim, quiet.
He likes the dimness, helps him focus, right? He's working on this programmable laser puzzle
Trying to create a hologram.
of his family, Leia, Han, Jason, and Jaina.
Yeah, and there's this interesting, almost poignant detail the source gives us.
Where did he get the idea?
From thinking about Darth Vader's fortress, Vijun, and the hologram Vader kept of Luke.
Wow, that's a heavy connection for a kid. Makes you wonder what that meant to Vader, or what Anakin thinks it means.
It's a fascinating little parallel. Anyway, watching Anakin is Master Ikrit.
Ah, yes, the furry Jedi Master, perched on the windowsill.
White fur, about a meter tall, floppy ears, fluffy tail. The source really emphasizes his calm, observant presence, blue-green eyes, too.
Definitely not your typical Jedi image, so the quiet's broken then.
Yeah, a knock. And in bursts Tahiri, Anakin's best friend.
Right, she's described as just pure energy. Long blonde hair, bright green eyes.
Barefoot, even in her orange flight suit. Super talkative, curious.
And there's that hint of sadness, too, isn't there? About her past.
Mm-hmm. Raised by sand people after her parents were killed. She wears that necklace.
The pendants, yeah. Her parents' thumbprints, and one from Slyvin, her Tusken adoptive father, a connection to that past.
But she doesn't let it slow her down. She's buzzing. Master Skywalker's away.
So Tion and Ikrit are teaching.
And the big news. Tion wants them to explore the Jedi Holocron they just recovered.
The one from Vader's fortress, from their last adventure.
Exactly. Talk about a follow-up.
So adventure calls again, but first they need to grab someone else, right? Uldir.
Right. They swing by the kitchen for him. Uldir's described as sturdy, shaggy chestnut hair, amber eyes.
His backstory's a bit different. He wasn't chosen like the others.
No. He basically stowed away to get to the academy. Wanted to be a Jedi, but Master Skywalker didn't sense that, raw Jedi talent.
But he was allowed to stay, to study the Force anyway.
Yeah, hoping to find some path. You can feel his struggle, though. He's been withdrawn lately.
Probably feeling the pressure. But this holocron lesson gets him excited.
Definitely. A spark of hope, maybe. The source mentions his parents are cargo pilots. Just a little background detail.
Okay, so the group gathers. Tion's chambers.
And Tion herself sounds amazing. Silvery hair, musical voice, these huge mother-of-pearl eyes. You instantly get she's devoted to Jedi history.
She presents the holocron, a gleaming milky cube.
And explains what it is, basically. A Jedi Master's library. Recorded teachings, wisdom passed down.
It activates, and we see the hologram. Ash crimson.
Tiny, plump woman, black hair, red gown, just beaming kindness.
Tahiri's a bit confused at first, right? Talking to a hologram.
Yeah, but Ikrit explains it. They're programmed with answers. It's like an interactive library designed for learning.
So what's Ash Crimson's main point in this first lesson?
It's about teaching young children really young to use the Force, helping them reach their full potential early on.
Okay, and this is where Uldir reacts, visibly.
He actually snorts, mutters something under his breath.
What's his issue?
He points out Master Skywalker. Luke learned late and became super powerful. So, what about this teach them young idea?
Ah, you can see the conflict. The source even mentions his fists clenching.
It's pure frustration boiling over. He's already feeling inadequate, maybe. And now this lesson seems to contradict the example of the most famous Jedi.
It raises a good point for anyone struggling, doesn't it? How do you take advice that doesn't seem to fit your heroes or your own situation?
Exactly. Then Ash Crimson's hologram drops another bombshell.
where the holocron came from.
Right. She says she stored it in a great Jedi library on a space station called Exis Station. TDO system.
And the holocron shows images.
Yeah, robed figures, gleaming corridors, big windows, artifacts. Looks like a major knowledge center.
Tion recognizes the name. Exis.
I've seen it before, she murmurs. But she says the library isn't there anymore. The station's been empty for ages.
Why? What happened?
She explains she visited years ago looking for this legendary library. Found it deserted. A disaster thousands of years back. Solar flares, radiation.
So the library contents were moved.
Scattered for safety. Tion and Master Skywalker actually moved the whole station later, with R2 and some old droids helping, to a safer spot in space.
Wow. Anakin and Tahiri must be intrigued.
Oh yeah, they immediately want to see this massive, ancient, empty station.
But then Uldir makes another connection. A huge one.
His eyes widen. Exist station. That's where the Mage Orloc said he was from.
Orloc. The guy from Vijun. The one who stole the holocron and Obi-Wan's lightsaber in the first place.
The very same. Uldir stumbled upon him there. Tion's surprised with this link.
But the focus shifts back to the holocron they have now.
Tion feels they shouldn't really use it further without Luke. Ash Crimson intended it for Masters.
Ikrit agrees. Luke should decide.
And Uldir's just crushed. Visibly disappointed, he mutters it's not fair.
He feels they need the lessons now, the students.
Exactly. His friends try to cheer him up, suggest basic practice, lighting candle flames, lifting leaves.
But he's just not getting anywhere with that stuff.
No. And he's getting desperate. Keeps saying there ought to be a faster way. It can't even make sparks fly.
And the fear is real, isn't it? That if he doesn't show progress, he'll be asked to leave the academy.
That feeling of being stuck, watching others succeed.
Yeah.
It's potent.
Yeah.
And it pushes Uldir towards a really bad decision.
He can't sleep that night.
No. Haunted by the holocron images, his own failures. He gets fixated. Ash Crimson's lessons are the key. He needs them now.
Then his desperation leads him.
Where? To Master Skywalker's chambers. He starts rationalizing.
Borrowing the holocron.
Yeah, just borrowing. It's his only hope. He'll give it back. It's not really stealing. You can feel his stomach churning, his hands shaking as he opens the door.
He gets inside. It's dark.
He bumps a table. Knocks something over.
What is it?
Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber.
Wow. He picks it up.
Activates it. That blue-white blade flares up, illuminated the room, and the holocron sitting there.
Does he try to use the holocron then?
He does. Tries focusing his thoughts, speaking to it. Nothing. It stays inert.
But then he remembers something.
Orloc. The maid from Vijun. Orloc claimed he knew the holocron's secret. And Orloc said he lived on Exi Station.
Ah. The pieces click together in Order's mind. The holocron won't work for him.
But maybe Orloc can unlock it.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Orloc has that faster way to learn the Force that Uldir craves.
He sees Ikrit's ship, the Sunrider, outside.
And the decision is made. Go to Exist Station, find Orloc.
He tells himself no guts, no glory.
Grabs the lightsaber, grabs the holocron, and heads for the ship. Sets a course for Exist.
So the next morning, Tahiri's looking for Uldir.
Yeah, for their practice session. Checks his usual spots. Notices the Sunrider is gone.
Thinks Anakin and Ikrit took it.
Initially, yeah. Just out for a fly. But then she checks Uldir's room.
Empty.
Completely empty. Clothes gone, possessions gone. That worry turns pretty quickly to alarm, then real dread.
She finds Anakin and Ikrit.
And they weren't flying. They were just out for a walk. The Sunrider's missing.
Then Tion arrives.
Looking just as concerned, the holocron and the lightsaber are gone from Luke's room.
It all snaps together. Uldir, the ship, the holocron, the lightsaber, all missing.
Ikrit states it plainly. We must go after the boy. The holocron's valuable, and Uldir could be in serious danger.
Anakin puts it together. Uldir must have gone to Exit Station.
Right. Where he heard Orloc was from, thinking that's the place to get the answers he needs, the shortcut.
Tahiri confirms it. Uldir mentioned Orloc and Exis.
Yep. So, the decision is made. They have to go after him.
In Tion's ship this time, the Lore Seeker.
With Tion navigating, since she knows the way, and R2 helping out, they decide to leave that evening after one last check around the temple.
Okay, so they're on the Lore Seeker heading through hyperspace. How are Anakin and Tahiri feeling?
It's complicated. Anakin's feeling, angry, but also worried.
And Tahiri?
She feels guilty. Like maybe she should have been a better friend seeing this coming. But also betrayed. He stole important things, lied by omission.
It's messy. Tion and Ikrit try to offer some perspective.
Yeah. Tion points out Uldir made his choice. He's responsible. But Ikrit adds a crucial bit of Jedi wisdom.
Which is?
Just because someone makes a mistake, even a big one, you don't abandon them.
Yeah.
Especially not when they're heading into danger. R2 apparently agrees, beeping along.
That really says something about their philosophy. So the lore seeker itself sounds interesting.
Oh yeah, it's described as fascinating. A flying holo library, full of antiques. Tion even shows them a holo clip of Exis Station.
What's it look like in the clip?
Impressive, but weird. Like a giant metal sea creature with many arms, or maybe a star with different pods attached. Anakin's fascinated by the engineering of it.
Tahiri's reaction.
Still spooky, finds it genuinely creepy.
Tion explains the layout.
Yeah, the central hub had the libraries, living quarters. The satellite pods were for different species, some water-filled, some high-gravity, stuff like that. They have coordinates for a specific docking bay Tion and Luke used before.
Okay, so while they're en route, what's happening with Uldir?
He makes it to the TDO system in the Sunrider. He actually navigated and piloted it himself. Feels a little flicker of pride.
But the doubts are creeping in.
Big time. As he gets closer to Exis, he starts questioning everything. Is this wrong? Is this the dark side? He tries pushing it down, telling himself he's just borrowing the items.
What if Orloc isn't even there?
He tells himself he'll just study the station then, still trying to justify it all.
He spots the station visually, that sea creature shape.
Yep, finds it on the scanner too. Heads for the central hub.
How does he dock?
Uses a distress signal, bluffs his way into an automated emergency dock, holds his breath until the bay door actually opens.
And inside?
It's enormous. Dimly lit, cobwebs everywhere, really spooky atmosphere.
He gears up.
Lightsaber on his belt, holocron in his satchel, goes through the airlock.
Expecting an empty station.
Probably. But instead, he walks right into an ambush. A dozen droids, maybe a dozen Renauts.
Knots. Those big rodent creatures from Tatooine.
The same. And they're organized, wearing purple sashes, silver armbands, carrying blasters.
So Uldir is captured immediately.
Instantly. They throw a sack over him, tie him up, inject him with something. He passes out.
Wakes up later.
On a repulsor sled, hearing the ranch chattering. After a while, they stop, pull the sack off. He's in a clean, well-lit room.
And then?
A plume of smoke appears.
And
out steps the Mage Orloc.
how's he described?
Thin guy, deep purple cloak with silver spangles, long dark hair, tawny eyes, little beard. Looks the part, you know.
Orloc must be suspicious.
Very. Thinks Uldir might be bait, a Jedi trap. But Uldir spills everything.
How the Jedi teaching isn't working. How Master Skywalker doubts him.
How desperate he is. He offers Orloc the holocron and the lightsaber in exchange for training, the faster way.
And Orloc sees his chance.
Absolutely. Power, priceless artifacts dropped right in his lap. He accepts. Pretends to be impressed by Uldir's courage.
But with a warning.
Oh yeah, don't lie to me.
Okay.
And by the way, I control all the droids here now, including assassin droids, just so you know.
Nice welcome. Then the teaching starts.
Immediately. First lesson. Turn on the lights, using the Force.
How does Orloc instruct him?
Tells him to clear his mind, think only of light, the lights flick on.
And Uldir?
He's amazed. This feels real. It worked. So much simpler than trying to lift leaves or make sparks. This is the hook. Exactly. Orloc starts showing him more tricks, lifting a 1,000-kilo platform like it's nothing, turning complex machinery on and off, using a voice of command on a Renat.
All designed to look like force powers.
But really just Orloc manipulating the station systems, or using suggestion. And he plays Uldir perfectly.
How so?
Claims he can sense Uldir's thoughts. Says the Jedi Academy just doesn't understand Uldir's real power, his unique potential. Feeds every insecurity Uldir has.
Making Orloc seem like the only one who truly gets him.
Pretty much. Uldir starts buying into it completely, dreaming of becoming this all-powerful mage, just like Orloc.
Okay, back to the rescue team. The lore seeker arrives at Exis.
And Anakin is just floored by the scale of it. Huge, colossal, enormous, gigantic. He's trying to wrap his head around how it all fits together.
Tahiri's take.
Still creepy. Definitely spooky. Ikrit is just radiating caution.
They use the pre-programmed coordinates to dock?
Same kind of hangar bay Uldir found. Vast, dim cobwebs. Anakin gets this shivery feeling walking on the metal mesh floor like something's underneath.
Thanks.
Blaster fire erupts from behind them. Inside the hangar they just entered, R2 shrieks.
For droids.
Yep, 8 of them. Ikrit counts later. They're pinned down on that walkway. No cover at all.
Only one way out.
Make a run for the blast door into the station proper.
It's chaos again.
Total chaos. And in the scramble, Tahiri's long hair gets snagged in the floor grating. She's stuck.
Tells Anakin to go on without her.
Yeah, but he refuses. No way. Tion gets there, whips out her lightsaber, and slashes Tahiri's hair free.
Leaving her with that distinctive haircut.
Very asymmetrical, chin length on one side now. Ikrit helps him scramble through the door just in time.
Anakin hits the lock control.
Locks it. Then Tion takes her lightsaber and just melts the panel. Buys him some time.
That's when Ikrit mentions his scouting trick.
Yeah. Says he turned his fur black to blend in with the shadows while he counted the droids. Came back when he heard Tahiri yell. Pretty cool ability.
So they're safe for a second, but the droids are pounding on the door. What now?
Tion admits she doesn't know the exact layout here. They have to trust the Force to guide them.
R2's trying to interfere with the door locks.
Yeah, scrambling signals. But the droids are persistent. Ikrit suggests a safer route.
The air ducts.
Exactly. Droids can't follow easily. There are access ladders nearby.
So they start climbing.
And climbing. Hundreds of meters. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
Tahiri's bare feet are getting raw, muscles aching.
The source mentions Tion and Ikrit using the Force later.
Yeah, to help them rest more deeply. Ease the pain. Help healing. A subtle use of the Force for care, not combat.
They find a place to rest.
A storage compartment, finally. And Anakin tries reaching out with the Force again.
Is he sense Uldir?
Yes, faintly. Still in the station somewhere. But the connection is weak, partly Uldir's own untrained level, partly maybe their friendship isn't that deep. It's hard to say.
They explore nearby.
Find a large room behind a screen partition. It's full of salvaged machinery parts. And crucially, there's a transparent panel with a map of Ex's station etched on it.
A map. And they see activity.
Renuts. Same purple sashes, silver armbands. They're sorting through salvage stuff, marking off sections on the map replica.
Anakin figures it out.
They're salvagers, stripping the station for parts.
Then the connection is obvious.
These must be Orloc's guys, the same ones who attacked them. Tion urges caution.
Which is needed because...
A Ranat carrying a crate walks around the partition, sees them, and lets out this piercing shriek. Warning!
Uh-oh, fight time again.
The Ranats attack. Tion tells Anakin and Tahiri together, use the Force.
What do?
They manage to push the whole screen partition down, trapping some Ranats behind it.
Tion goes for the lights.
Flashes the glow panels. Dims the room considerably. Ikrit arrives, swinging in on a cable like a furball Tarzan.
Using the Force to disarm them.
Exactly. Meanwhile, Anakin and Tahiri are coordinating, force-pushing heavy crates at the attackers. Tion uses a lightsaber throw to spill a net full of canisters, adding to the chaos.
The Renets decide this isn't worth it.
The remaining ones break and run. Tion knows reinforcements won't be far behind. Ikrit's found another way out.
Back into the air ducts.
Seems to be their safest bet, so more crawling.
Ikrit asks the kids to help sense Uldir again.
Yes, as sensing non-Jedi is trickier. Anakin can still feel Uldir's presence, but not his exact spot.
But they have a clue now from the map.
Right. The areas the Ranats were marking off must be near Orloc's base of operations, and he'll likely be at the very center of that area.
Anakin uses the Force to get a general direction.
And they crawl that way. For hours, it sounds like.
Till they find a grate, look down.
And there it is. A big, brightly lit, high-ceiling room below. Must be Orloc's headquarters, full of weird gadgets, projectors, speakers, catwalks, even huge statues.
And they see Orloc.
Yep. Surrounded by his Ranat guards and droids.
Uh-huh.
And right beside him, Uldir, arms spread wide, putting on a show.
What's he doing? Making magic.
Creating effects. Flickering lights from the glow panels, booming thunder from the speakers, mist falling like rain from emergency sprinklers.
He's boasting about his power.
Totally. Telling his friends to leave him alone, that he's powerful now.
But who is he talking to? Anakin and Tahiri are confused.
Until Anakin spots him. R2-D2, in a corner, soaking wet from the sprinklers, wearing a restraining bolt. Uldir's been talking to R2 the whole time.
Wow. And just then...
The grate gives way. Anakin and Tahiri tumble down into the room.
Quick thinking.
Instinctively, they use the Force together, creating a cushion of air, landing safely. Tion and Ikrit land right behind them.
Uldir must be furious.
Livid. They're interrupting his moment, ruining everything. Tion immediately demands the stolen items back.
The Holocron and Obi-Wan's lightsaber? Anakin sees the saber on Orloc's belt.
Anakin and Tahiri just plead with Uldir, come back with us, come home.
But Uldir's bought into Orloc's hype.
Completely. He sneers at them, thinks they're just jealous, trying to stop him now that he's found real power. He proudly describes the storm he just made.
And that's when Anakin and Tahiri burst his bubble.
Point out the obvious. Flickering lights aren't lightning. Speakers aren't thunder. Sprinklers aren't a rainstorm. It was all fake.
How does Orloc react?
He admits it, but twists it. Claims Uldir's power caused electrical disturbances that made the lights flicker. Says the sprinklers haven't worked in centuries, implying Uldir somehow fixed them with the Force. Still trying to spin the deception.
While this is going on, Anakin's trying something subtle.
Yeah, using the Force, trying to loosen that restraining bolt on R2.
Orloc decides the rescue party is too much trouble.
Tells Uldir they have to be eliminated. No choice.
But Uldir balks at that.
He can't let them be killed. He refuses. He even tries to claim he saved them with the Force when they fell. It's like,
Yeah.
Part of him still wants to believe in the power, but his loyalty to his friends is cracking through Orloc's influence. He begs Orloc to let them go.
Orloc isn't having it.
Scoffs. Calls Uldir sentimental, weak. Reaches for Obi-Wan's lightsaber hanging at his belt.
But Ygritte acts first.
Force yanks the lightsaber right out of Orloc's reach. At the same time, Tion Force pulls the holocron away from a droid, holding it.
All hell breaks loose.
Orloc roars orders. Ranets and droids attack. Ygritte is just a blur, dodging Ranets. Anakin finally gets R2's restraining bolt off.
Tion yells for them to escape.
They bolt from the room, Ranets and droids right behind them. R2 wheels along, free at last.
They're running down a corridor.
Blaster fire pins them down, forces them back the other way. Anakin slips but gets up. They realize they can't make it back to the air ducts this time.
Tion spots another door.
They duck inside. It's a huge barrel-shaped room.
And Anakin recognizes it instantly.
This is it, Orloc's workshop. The place where the magic is made. Gadgets, speakers, projectors. Those big statues are in here too.
Tahiri gets it too.
Yeah. Uldir's gonna see the truth now. No way to hide it here.
And right on cue.
Orloc appears in a hidden doorway. More droids, more Ranets. His voice booms out, amplified by speakers, demanding the holocron.
But Tahiri senses something under the bravado.
Fear. She can feel his fear. He blusters about outnumbering them.
Tion's response.
Our power comes from the Force. Orloc, not from numbers or machines.
Tahiri asks about Uldir.
Orloc sneers, says he left Uldir behind with the droid, calls him weak, sentimental, too attached to his friends, basically discarding him.
Orloc tries to regain control of the situation.
Sends Ranets with blasters up onto a catwalk above them, uses mist effects, dramatic lighting. Ygritte scrambles up a ladder to engage them.
Down below, Anakin and Tahiri team up again.
Use the Force together to topple one of those giant statues, crash, takes out several droids.
More droids advance, but then...
Uldir appears. Through another door, with R2 and Ygritte, who must have dealt with the Ranets quickly. Uldir looks around the room, taking it all in. Asks if this is the Chamber of Wonders Orloc described.
Orloc sees his chance slipping away. Tries one last big show.
Pulls out all the stops. A powerful wind blasts from floor vents. Strobing lights flash erratically. Jets of superheated steam erupt from the floor panels. And he ignites Obi-Wan's lightsaber, trying to look commanding.
Anakin's main goal now...
Get that lightsaber. It belongs back with the Jedi. Tion decides to take the fight to Orloc on the catwalk.
But Orloc sees her coming.
Identifies her as the biggest threat. Orders his forces to concentrate fire on her.
Anakin notices something.
The damaged droid from before, its aim is still off. He helps Tahiri use the Force. They fling statue rubble at it, disabling its blaster arm.
Orloc uses another trick.
Electrifies the metal ladders leading to the catwalk. Tion gets shocked as she's climbing.
Falls.
Drops the holocron, tumbles to the floor. Anakin and Tahiri rush to her, dodging steam jets. She's hurt, shaking, hair singed, blisters forming. Can't even hold her own lightsaber. Whispers Ygritte and passes out.
Quick thinking from Anakin.
Throws Tion's lightsaber across the room to Ygritte.
Who catches it.
Ygritte, perched on R2, dodging blast, and catches it. Now he's holding both sabers, ready to face Orloc. Orloc just mocks him. Child's pet little hairball.
And Uldir is watching all of this.
Horrified. Seeing Orloc's cruelty, his reliance on tricks, abandoning Tion, mocking Ygritte, it clicks.
Realization.
Total clarity. Orloc lied about everything. His power isn't the Force, it's just selfish, destructive technology and manipulation. He knows his friends are here, hurt because of his mistake. He has to do something.
So, the final confrontation kicks off.
Ygritte versus Orloc, lightsabers flashing. Down below, an assassin droid targets Anakin and Tahiri while they're trying to protect the unconscious Tion. This droid can hover over the rubble.
Tion moans for the holocron.
Uldir knows this is it, his chance to make things right. He runs at the assassin droid.
What does he do?
Throws off his heavy robe, trying to blind its sensors. Gets hit by a wild shot from the droid, but manages to roll clear.
And yells encouragement.
You can do it, he shouts to Anakin and Tahiri. And they do. Working together, they lift the assassin droid with the Force and slam it hard against the wall. Disabled.
Uldir, the wounded, searches the wreckage.
Finds the holocron. "I've got it!" he yells.
At the same moment, across the room,
Orloc cries out. Obi-Wan's lightsaber flies from his grasp, pulled by the Force, and lands near Anakin.
Anakin snatches it up.
Sprints towards Orloc. Orloc throws up more illusion smoke. Tiny holographic TIE fighters dive bombing, trying to stop him.
But Uldir cuts through the noise.
Yells, "It's not real, it's just tricks." Tells Tahiri, "Show him." And he throws the holocron to her.
Tahiri catches it.
And the holocron flares to life. An enormous hologram of Ash Crimson fills the entire workshop. Her kind voice echoes, "Welcome, my children. What may I teach you today?"
And Uldir, standing there amidst the wreckage of Orloc's lies, wounded but defiant, shouts his question.
"Teach us about lies."
Ash Crimson's reply cuts right through everything. Simple, powerful.
Lies can only defeat you if you give them the power of your belief.
And that's where the source cuts off. Orloc, furious, raises his arms to attack Anakin, who's holding Obi-Wan's saber ready. Uldir cries out, "Don't hurt him!"
We don't see the final moment of that confrontation, but the real victory has already happened, hasn't it? Orloc's deception is broken. Uldir chose truth, and the holocron revealed it.
So, wrapping up this deep dive, wow. We followed Uldir's path, driven by that gnawing self-doubt that searched for a shortcut right into Orloc's trap.
And then his friend's incredibly dangerous journey to pull him back, navigating that creepy trap station. The holocron, the lightsaber, they weren't just objects, they were central to everyone's motivations.
Yeah, and the story really hammered home that difference, didn't it? Between Orloc's flashy high-tech tricks and the real power of the Force, which is more about, what, inner strength, connection.
Exactly. Self-belief. Trust. Things Orloc couldn't understand or replicate.
It really makes you think about, well, confronting lies, not just the big ones from others, but the ones we tell ourselves, maybe, about what we can and can't do.
And how important trust and friendship are. Finding the right path, even the slow one, is way more powerful than any shortcut built on fakes.
It connects to our world, too, right? We're swimming in information, quick fixes, sensational stories. How do you tell what's real? What's just Orloc's smoke and mirrors?
How much power do you give to the things you choose to believe? That's the question, isn't it?
And it brings us right back to that final, powerful line from Ash Crimson, delivered right when all the tricks were exposed.
Lies can only defeat you if you give them the power of your belief.
A really potent thought to end on. Something to mull over.
Definitely. How do you, listening now, decide what holds power in your own life?